Good morning. I pray that you guys have had a great weekend. Happy Monday. For those of us like myself whose work week starts on Monday, it's time for us to get this thing rolling. So, our scripture for today, we're back with day number 40 of our Jackie Hill Perry Upon Waking video. Day number 40 for our devotion. Let's hop into it. The scripture for today is Psalm 106, verses 12 through 14. Then they believed his words, they sang his praise, but they soon forgot his works. They did not wait for his counsel, but they had a wanton craving in the wilderness and put God to the test in the desert. The devotion goes like this. Israel complained just as much as we do about any and everything. Adam's children are good at being specific, at identifying a problem and praising it by repeating its name. These complaints are often visceral, as in they arise from something tangible and felt, rather than an abstract thing. Such as when Israel left Egypt, they grumbled against Moses and his brother by saying, "Would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt when we sat by meat pots and ate bread to the full." I can actually understand the angst. Hunger is an irritating feeling that tempts you to behave as if you've never eaten anything ever. What's problematic, though, is how if we let it have its way, the body will provoke us into missing a place we weren't even happy in. Oh, that's so good. That is so good. Let's not forget how Israel's time in Egypt was described. Taskmasters were set over them to afflict them with heavy burdens, and they ruthlessly made the people of Israel work as slaves and made their lives bitter with hard service in brick and mortar. Their bodies and the hunger within changed the way they thought about their previous condition. That is so good. Just to take a quick pause, how what you feel now can make you forget how bad what you were in really was. According to Israel, slavery wasn't bitter, but bountiful. They ate as much as they wanted, when they wanted, they reasoned. They might have been slaves, but at least they had a full belly. Oh, how flesh makes heaven seem like hell, and service to God seem more cumbersome than slavery to sin. At some point during any day, you'll see an attractive face, or whatever temptation finds you out in. At some point during any day, you'll see an attractive face, or whatever temptation finds you out, and you'll feel a pull toward that thing. That pull can linger if not resisted, and there are times when having to put something to death is the irritation. It seemed like in Egypt, when the world, the flesh, and the devil was Pharaoh. When you were hungry, you ate. When you were thirsty, you drank. But what would have been at the end of it? Yes, you were free to do as you please, but once the full belly lived within a dead body, would the judgment seat of God have been worth the meal? The Apostle Paul told the church in Rome the same. For when you were slaves of sin, you were free with regards to righteousness. So what fruit was produced then from the things you are now ashamed of? The outcome of those things is death. But you know the truth about those former days as well as I do. You were both a slave to a system and yourself back then, and now you found a new master, a good one, whose yoke is easy and burden is light, a king who is preeminent over all rulers and kingdoms, revealing himself as gentle and lowly. And life with God is always better than life in Egypt. That is so good. This Lord has rescued the called ones and leads them into a wilderness of sorts where they will be hungry and they will thirst. And when they do, they must remember the truth about their previous position. Even when they ate, they were never full. Even if they drank, they were never free. And now in this new land, there is bread from heaven and water from a rock. In Jesus, our bellies are full and our thirst is quenched. Such a good devotion today, and a reminder that if we're not careful, sometimes, even when we've been delivered from a bad situation, how sometimes if we're not careful, we can go through things and those things can make us forget how bad something really was. You see this a lot of times, sometimes in relationships with people. They'll come out of a bad relationship or come out of a toxic relationship, and then things will start going along. And, as life may tend to get a little hard or something like that, they'll regret having left that relationship because at least I was in this place. At least I had someone to help me pay the bills. At least whatever that at least is. And this is what we find here with Egypt. They were like, we may have been with the Israelites. At least we may have been slaves, but at least we were able to eat freely. And it's like, yeah, but at what cost? Right? At what cost? And so my admonishment to us today is to never get caught up. Never get so caught up in what we see now that makes us want to go back to what God has delivered us out of. Because if we're honest, I think we can all say we've all probably been in somewhat of a situation like that before, where God has delivered us out of something, and we'll find ourselves later on down the road looking back, longing for that thing or longing for some semblance of that thing again in our lives. No, Jesus has everything that we need. Every situation that he's ever brought us out of, he has better waiting on the other side. That doesn't mean that there won't be hard days, and that doesn't mean that there won't be days when you're hungry and there won't be days when you thirst, but that means that Jesus Christ has everything, and he's capable of providing everything that you need. You don't have to run back to a place that you don't belong. You don't have to run back to committing all sorts of sins to get those things. Everything that you need is in Jesus Christ. Every single thing. Remember that. Don't allow the devil to confuse you or tell you anything else, that you have to do this or you have to do this to have everything that you need or to have fun. You can have fun in Jesus. I can promise you I'm a whole lot of fun. And I enjoy this life that I live in Jesus. So be mindful of that. Let's not run back to Egypt based on what we see right now, because things look a little hard. Let's not want to run back to sin. Let's not want to run back to our old life just because things seem a little bit uncomfortable right now. God's got you. He's delivered you out of it. Stay delivered. Stay delivered, saints. Stay delivered, believers. If God has delivered you out of something, stay delivered. Don't run back to that thing. I love you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with day 41. I pray that the blessing of the Lord that maketh rich and adds no sorrow chases you down and overtakes you today. Have an amazing day. Remember that you are enough. Don't you allow anyone else to make you believe or feel anything differently than that. I love you. Peace.